do we design cities in the tropics, which is hot and humid and uncomfortable? How do we create cool interior environments without the need for air conditioning?
I wanted to make sure that living high-rise is not boring. It's not, you sit there, you're like isolated, and you have no friends, and you're just yourself, and become lonely. No.
It's an older building. All right, and older buildings have older building problems.
This chapter has ended and that we have to move to and begin a new chapter.
In the 1970s, 3 concrete heavy and bulky buildings were built in Singapore in the novel architectural style called Brutalism. Today, People's Park Complex, Pearl Bank Apartments, and Golden Mile Complex face possible demolition due to market forces. These are 3 icons of Singapore that are beloved by design aficionados and Instagrammers alike. And if they are destroyed, a key part of Singapore will go with it. Hi, I'm Hubab Hood. Follow me as I explore the unique features of these buildings, meet the architects, and also the people who call them home. Standing behind me is Pearl Bank Apartment. It's my favorite building of all time. The horseshoe shape captures the wind, and when you open the window, the air just flows right through it. Pearl Bank was the last of the Brutalist icons to be built. Construction finished in 1976. At that time, it was the tallest residential building in Singapore at 113 meters. The building's horseshoe opening faces the west, which shields units from the harsh afternoon sun in Singapore. We interviewed the architect of Pearl Bank, SIONG, who won a competition to design the building.
So I had to think of an idea of curving it, a slab block, a long block, I had to curve it, and it is a wind catcher concept. Then there is the other way, very important to my mind, was that if you have a curve shape, the inner curve, if it is a corridor with which people sort of reach their home, you'll be able to be more aware of your neighbor. I wanted to make sure that living high-rise is not boring. It's not, you sit there, you're like isolated, and you have no friends, and you're just yourself, and become lonely. No.
I used to live right there, and every morning I wake up, open my window, and it's like the lush vegetation is in front of my face. I spoke with Kim, who has lived her entire life in Pearl Bank.
I've been living here for the last 40 years. I was actually born here. Yeah, so my grandmother actually bought this place for her kids, for the rationale that she wanted her children to stay near her. So she bought a unit for my dad and also a unit for my uncle. Out of 365 days a year, we get breeze and wind all around. We get unblocked views. Like if you can see, it is at least like 180 degrees view. You get to see, the scenery. And on occasions like New Year, we get to see the fireworks from afar as well. And then we get to see a little bit of the sea and the pier and the ships. Yeah.
Speaking of neighbors, is there a sense of community living here?
Initially, during the 1970s, 80s, where this place was like a prestigious development. So it's like families, they will stay here, people who build their families with their children, maybe moving into the 1990s, there wasn't so much of a community anymore. Like people started to rent out their apartments. So then people that we see more were like tenants. Yeah, and then right now is even worse. Like people actually partition their houses to like 7 to 8 bedrooms just to make money out of it.
The people living here ranges from expats, local, young, old, even dodgy people live there. I remember coming home, opening the elevator door, and a bunch of allegedly high-class prostitute coming out, but they were like being all smiley. I have no idea what's going on. I just think it's hilarious that we're living in a building where there's so much happening. We sat down with Bill, an American Pearl Bank tenant who has some colorful anecdotes.
You could probably call this building 37 floors of horrors. There's a lot of strange activity going on, and the more you try to look at it, the stranger it gets. So I just kind of looked the other way. Supposedly ghosts here. And in the unit that I was living in, there was a lot of weird noises. And it wasn't from my neighbors neither. It'd be nice if it could stay, but in all reality, the building's really not up to standards for this day and time.
Yeah, so then we have like building issues. Because it's an old building and it's not very well maintained, I would say. So once it rains, the water actually runs around and there's like water leakaging from different corners of your house. Yeah, so it's actually really quite bad. Pearl Bank has got quite a few accidents, like this lift just beside my unit. There was this night, it was on the top floor, on the 37th floor, and the cable snapped and it sent the lift rolling right down to like the first floor. Yeah, so thank God there was nobody in the lift at the time, so there was no injuries. We heard of a few suicidal cases, but I've never ever seen them. So they said like around the corners, like there were people taking suicide, but no ghost stories.
Pearl Bank was successfully sold to Capitaland in February 2018 for 728 million Singapore dollars. In an en bloc sale, owners of units in a commercial or residential building agreed to sell the entire thing to a single buyer. Proceeds from the sale are then split between them. Usually, if 80% of the owners approve the deal, it can go through. Capitaland plans to demolish Pearl Bank and redevelop the site into a high-rise condo with 800 units. Do you think if there's a second chance, this building should be saved?
So I was told that if we really want to preserve the facade of the building and maintaining the building itself, like each household needs to fork up like tens of thousands of dollars, which is a lot of money actually, and I don't think a lot of people can afford that.
Should after the demolish, should the new construction be somewhat similar, like paying homage to this place?
I'm not sure, but I don't think they are going to. The history of the building, or I think the structure or the design of the building is of no significance to them. I would think they would just want to make money out of it.
The Capitaland bought the property. I was very happy. Here is a local company. But I thought, this company is a good chance that they may see. But unfortunately, at the moment, the calculation in terms of returns, in terms of the cost of the land that they have paid for, they find it very awkward. They can't make ends meet, and they find that the shareholders will be questioning them. It is very practical, and Singaporeans are a very practical city. I'm here not to support idealism per se of art or of anything. I am in support of anything that is good for the growth and the prosperity of Singapore. Even on that note, I think the time will come when creative conservation will be launched and will take off.
Owners of apartments are getting between 1.8 and 4.9 million Singapore dollars each for the en bloc sale. So it's understandable why they would want to sell. But I can't help but feel a little sad that this amazing building is going to be torn down.
Coconuts TV.